Most men walk through life chasing a dream, a woman who completes them, who validates them, who makes life worth living. They sacrifice time, money, and self-respect, all in the name of love. But what if I told you the love you've been taught to believe in is a lie? Over 200 years ago, Arthur Schopenhauer, a philosopher feared for his brutal honesty, ripped the mask off romantic love and exposed it for what it truly is, a biological illusion. Not magic, not soulmates, but a cold, calculated trick played by nature to ensure one thing: reproduction. You see, that spark you feel when you're obsessed with a woman, the rush, the infatuation, the sense that she's the one, that's not your heart talking. It's your instincts, your DNA, running a program thousands of years old. Your brain isn't falling in love, it's scanning, measuring fertility, compatibility, and survival odds. It's a survival algorithm, not a love story. And women? They're running their own program too, but with a different script. While men are drawn to beauty and youth, women are drawn to strength, security, and dominance. It's not personal, it's nature. Schopenhauer saw this with razor-sharp clarity. He wrote, "Love is the ultimate goal of almost all human effort." But he didn't say that to celebrate it. He said it to warn us. Because once that goal is achieved, once the passion fades, once the biological mission is complete, the illusion shatters. How many men have given their everything to a woman, only to be left confused, broken, discarded? How many marriages end not because of failure, but because the high wore off? It's not your fault. You were told that love is sacred, that if you just try harder, give more, sacrifice enough, she'll stay. But nature doesn't reward devotion. It rewards value. And the truth is, most men are playing a game they don't even understand. Here's what Schopenhauer understood, and what modern men still ignore: love isn't a mutual fairy tale. It's a negotiation, a test, a competition. And if you walk into it with your heart wide open and your eyes closed, you lose. But this is just the beginning. The truth gets darker and far more liberating if you have the courage to hear it. The world tells men that everything is equal now, that relationships are fair, that love is about mutual respect and understanding. But Arthur Schopenhauer saw through that illusion centuries ago, and if you look around, you'll realize he was right. Biology doesn't care about fairness. From the moment a woman hits puberty, nature gives her something men must fight decades to earn: sexual value. Youth, beauty, and fertility, the currency of attraction, peak early for women. And with that value comes power, attention, leverage. But a man? He starts at zero. He has to build his value from scratch. Through struggle, through rejection, through becoming. And while he's busy working, grinding, sacrificing to prove he's worthy, she's selecting. Not based on kindness, not on loyalty, but on strength, status, security. She is the chooser. You are the competitor. And the faster you realize this, the less you'll suffer. Schopenhauer didn't sugarcoat it. He wrote that women are childish, frivolous, and short-sighted. Not as an insult, but as an observation. He saw that women are wired to live in the moment, to respond to instinct, not logic. That's not a flaw. That's a survival trait. In today's world, this instinctive power has evolved. Social media, dating apps, and modern culture have turned female attention into a commodity. And the average man? Is now the consumer, begging, simping, orbiting, just for a taste. And what does he get in return? A reward system rigged against him. Validation that vanishes the moment he slips. Love that disappears when his status drops. Schopenhauer warned us, female love is not unconditional. It is transactional. It is tied to utility. And when you stop being useful, emotionally, financially, socially, you stop being loved. Harsh? Maybe. True? Absolutely. Modern men are drowning in confusion because they've been fed a fantasy. Just be a good guy, be honest, be open. But while he's being vulnerable, women are choosing the man who doesn't need them. Because here's the truth, the man who chases, loses. The man who leads, wins. And this power imbalance isn't cruelty, it's nature. The sooner you see it, the sooner you stop playing a losing game. But we're still not done. Because what Schopenhauer revealed next is the real weapon women use. And most men never even see it coming. If you're still thinking that relationships are logical, fair, or balanced, it's time to wake up. Because what Schopenhauer uncovered next cuts deeper than most men are prepared to handle. The truth is this: women don't conquer through force. They conquer through influence. While men are out here swinging swords, trying to impress with strength, reason, or resources, women are playing a completely different game. One where emotion, perception, and subtle manipulation are the weapons. And they're masters of it. Schopenhauer said it bluntly: women are instinctively crafty. They don't overpower men, they outmaneuver them. They don't demand. They inspire you to offer. And by the time you realize it wasn't your idea, it's too late. Modern psychology confirms what Schopenhauer said centuries ago, that women are experts at emotional warfare. Not because they're evil, because they had to be. In a world where brute strength belonged to men, survival depended on mastering the psychological battlefield. That's why women read facial expressions like radar. Why they sense weakness in your tone before you've even finished your sentence. Why they test you constantly, without you even knowing you're being tested. Let me explain. Ever rearranged your schedule just to please her? That was a compliance test. Ever backed down from your values just to avoid upsetting her? That was a frame test. Ever found yourself chasing her harder the more distant she became? That was an investment test. She didn't explain the rules. You didn't know you were playing. But you failed anyway. Schopenhauer called it the tyranny of the weak, the ability of the seemingly powerless to control the strong through emotion. A man may bench 300 pounds, lead a company, or run a nation, yet crumble under a single woman's silent treatment. That's not strength. That's slavery. But here's the most brutal part. The moment you make her your purpose, she loses respect for you. Neediness kills attraction. Obsession kills value. And the man who forgets this walks into a trap with a smile on his face, confused when she walks away cold, indifferent, and done. Every interaction is a power exchange. Most men lose without even knowing a war was fought. But Schopenhauer didn't stop at exposing this. What he revealed next is the beginning of freedom, the key to flipping the script and taking back control. By now, the picture is clear. You've been outplayed, not because you're weak, but because you never understood the game. Most men walk into relationships like loyal soldiers, hoping love will reward their service. But Schopenhauer warned, to be loved, one must not be just, but clever. And that's the turning point. Because once you see through the illusion, once you understand that female nature isn't personal, but biological, you stop begging for love, and you start commanding respect. The average man believes his value comes from what he gives. His loyalty, his time, his effort. He bends over backwards trying to prove he's enough. But all his proving is that he doesn't get it. Schopenhauer made it painfully clear, women are not drawn to men who seek approval. They're drawn to men who don't need it. The man with purpose. The man with boundaries. The man who would rather walk away than kneel. This isn't about domination. It's about alignment. A woman's nature is to follow strength, not just physical, but emotional, intellectual, spiritual. And strength is not loud. It's not aggressive. It's silent certainty. It's the man who's building something so powerful, she either rises to meet his standards, or watches him rise alone. That's the man she craves. That's the man who makes her feel safe, desired, and challenged all at once. Not because he chased her, but because he never made her his mission. He already had one. You see this in history. The men who built empires, wrote masterpieces, transformed the world, were not sidetracked by validation. They weren't crying over text replies. They were too busy conquering themselves. And that's the key. The only way to stop being controlled by female approval is to no longer need it. That's where your power begins. Not in changing women, but in changing your foundation. Schopenhauer didn't just diagnose the problem. He gave us the path forward. It's not about rejecting love, it's about redefining it. Replacing need with purpose, desperation with clarity, emotion with vision. Because once you do that, the game changes. She doesn't control the frame anymore. You do. You set the terms. You decide what qualifies. And instead of chasing her, she starts chasing you. But there's one final piece. One lesson even stronger than power. And it's the one most men will never understand, because it has nothing to do with women and everything to do with you. This entire time, you've been led to believe the enemy is outside you. Women, society, the dating game, the culture. But Schopenhauer, in all his brutal honesty, left us with a truth so sharp, so uncomfortable, most men refuse to face it. The real enemy is within. You were never just battling female nature. You were battling your own illusion, the fantasy that happiness lives in her hands. That if you get the girl, the house, the ring, you'll finally be enough. It's a lie. A comforting one, but a lie nonetheless. Schopenhauer said it best: the happiness we receive from ourselves is greater than that which we obtain from our surroundings. The man who wins, truly wins, isn't the one who controls women. It's the one who no longer needs to. Because he has mastered the only domain that matters, himself. He's built a life rooted in 3 unshakable pillars. 1. Economic sovereignty. Money isn't about luxury, it's about freedom. The man who controls his income controls his time, his choices, and his destiny. No woman, no job, no system can cage a man who's financially independent. 2. Philosophical depth. Most men live on autopilot, believing whatever they are told. The exceptional man questions everything. He reads, thinks, reflects. He cuts through the noise and finds truth, even when it hurts. Especially when it hurts. 3. Physical mastery. Your body is your armor, your weapon, your vehicle. If it's weak, your will is weak. But when you train it, when you push it, discipline it, master it, you begin to dominate every other area of your life. Because strength isn't just in the muscle, it's in the mind behind it. And this is where everything shifts. When you stop expecting the world to make you happy, happiness shows up. Not as a reward, but as a side effect of becoming the man you were meant to be. You stop asking for loyalty, and you inspire it. You stop chasing validation, and you attract admiration. You stop trying to fit in, and people start following your lead. Schopenhauer's most devastating insight wasn't about women. It was about men. That most of us trade away our power just to be liked, just to be chosen, just to be normal. We forfeit 3/4 of ourselves, he said, in order to be like other people. The moment you stop doing that, that's when your real life begins. This is not about hating women. It's about loving truth enough to rebuild yourself around it. It's about becoming the prize. And from that place of power, love, loyalty, respect, they no longer become things you chase. They become what you naturally command.